What if the biggest power struggle in modern sports never happened on the court at all? What if it happened behind a locked conference room door, with microphones that weren't supposed to be on? The National Women's Basketball Circuit just wrapped its most explosive season on record. Sold-out arenas, record ratings, billion-dollar media deals that had boardrooms popping champagne. But underneath all that shine, something was rotting. A quiet war between the people writing the checks and the athletes actually earning them. And when word of a leaked recording began moving through front offices and reporters' inboxes, everything the league had worked so hard to bury started spilling into the light. The two names at the center of this storm, head coach Marissa Cole and star forward Talia Reyes, aren't just basketball figures anymore. They've become symbols of a much bigger fight. Who actually controls this sport? And what happens to the people brave enough to challenge that control? To understand how things got this far, you have to remember what the league looked like before the money showed up. For years, it survived on grit, dedicated fans, underpaid athletes, a media landscape that mostly ignored them. The identity was raw and real. Then the money arrived, and it changed everything overnight. Billionaire investors, broadcast conglomerates, sponsors with zero connection to the sport's history but a massive stake in its future. Suddenly, every press conference, every hard foul, every post-game interview had a dollar sign attached. And league executives, unprepared for a product this valuable and this volatile, started applying quiet pressure to smooth out anything that made a boardroom uncomfortable. Not everyone was willing to make that trade. The Portland Rush had built their whole identity on suffocating defense and physical, grinding basketball, nothing packaged for a 15-second highlight reel. Leading that team was Marissa Cole, a former player turned sharp, no-nonsense coach who understood exactly what the league's marketing machine wanted from her. She simply refused to give it to them at the cost of her team's identity. When critics wanted faster, flashier basketball, she kept running her defensive system without apology, and she defended her players at the podium every single time. While Cole held the line from the sideline, Talia Reyes was detonating something louder on the floor. Career best season, an award nobody could argue against. But what made her dangerous to league management wasn't the stats. It was that she refused to perform quiet professionalism for corporate sponsors. She guarded hyped rookies like her career depended on it, because it did. When she thought coverage was unfair, she said so, on camera, with zero interest in careful phrasing. Fans loved her for it. League offices dreaded every interview she gave. The tension cracked open during a stretch of nationally televised games where Reyes's physical style became a media firestorm. Panel shows debated intent for hours. Clips got chopped up and fed to algorithms built to reward outrage over context. Instead of letting it cool down, Cole stepped straight into it, press conference after press conference, refusing to discipline players for playing hard, refusing to soften her team to make casual viewers comfortable. To the executives watching from the suites, that wasn't stubbornness. It was a direct challenge to their control over the narrative they were being paid enormous money to manage. Then came the rumor that changed everything. Whispers moving through team insiders and basketball journalists described a closed-door meeting that turned into a shouting match. Executives, coaching staff, and player representatives colliding over officiating, media bias, and the league's aggressive policing of athlete personalities. And somewhere in that room, according to those same whispers, a recording was made. Allegedly, it captured senior administrators discussing specific ways to quietly discourage coaches and players who were causing friction, not press release language, but operational, specific language that would unsettle players, fans, and sponsors alike if it ever surfaced in full. The league never confirmed any of it existed. But something shifted right after the rumors spread. Press access got tighter. Certain players who'd been fixtures in league content started appearing less. The warm, accessible media environment that helped build the ratings boom started feeling colder, and everyone paying attention noticed. Then the decision that stopped the sports world cold. Marissa Cole resigned from Portland. Days later, she was named head coach of the Chicago Voltage, the franchise sitting at the commercial center of the league's boom. Was it an escape from a toxic front office? A strategic repositioning by people who wanted her talent somewhere more commercially cooperative? Nobody outside those phone calls knows for certain, but the timing made it feel like anything but coincidence. For Talia Reyes, left behind in Portland, the ground seemed to disappear beneath her. Her response came in a string of pointed social posts. Public, sharp, deliberately ambiguous, but unmistakable to anyone paying attention. And then came the part that really alarmed people who understand how leagues operate. Rumors that Reyes herself was quietly being frozen out. No suspension, no fine, just a slow disappearance from marketing campaigns, feature packages, and official promotional content. In professional sports, they call it a shadow ban. One of the most brutal things that can happen to a career precisely because there's no official record it ever happened. What makes this bigger than two people is what it means heading into the league's next labor negotiation. For years, those talks centered on salaries and travel conditions. Now player leadership is waking up to something more fundamental. If a coach with Cole's resume can be pushed out, and a player with Reyes's talent can be quietly erased from marketing, then no one in the league is safe. Veterans who disagree about almost everything else are finding common ground around one realization. The system isn't neutral, and it will move against you if you step out of line. As the next season approaches, three people will define the story far beyond wins and losses. Cole steps into Chicago under more scrutiny than she's ever faced. Reyes heads into the season at a crossroads. Keep playing with the same fearless honesty and risk more institutional cold shouldering, or soften her voice and trade authenticity for access. And the league's leadership faces a problem no press release can fix: rebuilding trust with athletes who believe they have proof that the people running their sport once sat in a room and discussed how to silence them. What this league was built on was never something that could be sanitized. Its value came from people who were completely, uncomfortably real in a media landscape full of manufactured personalities. That kind of authenticity doesn't disappear just because someone tries to manage it out of existence. It goes underground, and it builds pressure until it finds a way out. The only question left is who's brave enough to let it.